Welcome back, watch fans. We're talking Rolex, we're talking Breguet and Omega, and an unbelievable but true state of the watch market. I'm here at an undisclosed location, top secret location in the deepest Chomostan. That's right, unbelievable but true. Yeah, I was reading an article in the Wall Street Journal. Now, I know a lot of you mooch bums, you don't know what that is. It used to be a newspaper, now it's online. Well, I think they do have a newspaper. I haven't actually picked up a physical one quite a while, which is a shame because I actually really enjoyed reading physical newspapers. There's just something you can't get, from this digital stuff. A lot of stuff just get lost. I'm a real fan of magazines and print media, you know what I mean? Anyway, so there's an article about some guy who's like some bukiak who's like running a fund. He's like a small-time money manager from Louisiana. I think he runs like $100 million, which is not a lot of money in that scheme of things. He's basically been trying to get a seat on the board of Swatch Group. That's right. This guy is trying to get a seat on the board of Swatch Group because he's got ideas. He thinks the stock is deeply undervalued, and he's got ideas that he wanted to share with Nick Hayek, who is the guy who's the CEO, chairman. I don't know, whatever it is. It's owned by a family mostly. He's trying to get what do you call it? He's trying to get on the board. He has ideas, right? So what kind of ideas does he have? And guess what's going on, of course? Well, first let me give you the backdrop. So there's a picture of this guy in the article, and he's wearing on the wrist. What is he wearing on the wrist? By the way, on the wrist right now is the Yacht Master, which I've not worn in quite a while. It's it's nice to like be able to switch things and give it a little change. You really appreciate. I think I had this watch already 5 years, and it's, look at this. You got these desk scars. This is what happens when you work at a desk. This is this is the part that gets scuffed up. But otherwise, listen, very happy with the watch. I mean, this has been, again, 5 years, and the dial is really, I gotta tell you, the dial is absolutely amazing. When you really start appreciating Rolex when you look at some of the details. They really do things very, very in a very unique way. I'm actually kind of thinking maybe they might be, I hate to say this, they might actually be, I'm actually looking to get a new Rolex. I'm looking to get rid of the Submariner, the King Tut, which I've been looking to do for a while. I'm looking to trade that in, but yeah, it's there's just not a lot out there. Well, I'm looking for something in gold, the choices, again, when you think of Patek, you think of AP, whatever, all that other stuff, right? The problem with those watches is, if you look at the day date, I'm really getting into the day date thing, the new version of the day date, and their prices are crazy. They're absolutely insane. Not any different than the old day date. What's the same watch, basically, just a more refined version, right? Kind of like this car. This is basically just a more refined version of, whatever they did. Well, it's a lot more, but, whatever they were doing, I don't know, 30 years ago. So I don't know. But anyway, well, the difference is the Rolex looks the same. But anyway, back to the story about Breguet. I don't want to get too distracted here. Make sure you leave your nasty and vicious comments and subscribe to the channel, of course. But anyway, this bukiak, this money manager, contacts Breguet. He meets with Hayek. He gets a meeting. He says he's a big fan. He sends him gifts. He sends him cigars. He sends him books. Does this sound familiar? Does this start to sound familiar? He's sending video games, colognes, liquor, grooming. The grooming is starting. Basically, this guy's trying to groom Nick Hayek. They have a meeting. Apparently, they met for a couple of hours over coffee. I think he sent them cigars, everything. He sent them cigars, right? That's the big thing. And probably sent them cheap cigars or something. This guy's like from Louisiana. These guys, I hate to say this. These guys in the South, they're kind of hucklebucks. I mean, listen, I love the Southern people. I really do. But they're kind of, I don't know, they're kind of hillbillies, basically. So he probably sent him like, what I'm trying to think. What would a guy from Louisiana send him? He probably sent him something like from Mike's Cigars, which I think sells dried out cigars. Punch. He probably sent him some like punch cigars. You know, last time I bought some punch cigars from Mike's, something was wrong with them. I really think they dry them out or something. Anyway, so he meets with Hayek, and they had a great meeting. And then he starts giving him ideas, apparently, you know, suggestions. And then he never heard from him again. And he wanted to get a board seat. He's fighting for this board seat. You know, he's a minor shareholder. Blah blah blah. And what happens? He gets nowhere. Now, here's the punchline. Guys, get ready for the punchline. The punchline is it shows a picture of his Breguet, because he decided, hey, he's a Breguet man. Just like the Bogan of Brisbane. And what kind of watch does the Bogan of Brisbane have? Unbelievable but true. You know, one of our aristocrats had this watch, and you know, he wisened up. I think he took good counsel from the colonel, and he got rid of the watch. That's the watch with that white face, that like porcelain with those like goofy numerals. You know, it's just a black and white. It looks terrible. The watch is a horrible watch. Of course, who gets one? ArchieLuxury. That's right, the Bogan of Brisbane. The grifter of Brisbane. Not the grifter, to be a little bit different than the grifter of Venice. This guy is the grifter of Brisbane, the Bogan of Brisbane. He buys this watch with, you know, whatever donations he gets from, you know, all these different chomos on his channel. You know, all the Chomostanis, the Bukiakistanis, all those lowlives. Yeah, that's right. So he's got this shitter watch. Of course, Nick Hayek doesn't want to take advice from this bum. I mean, he doesn't want to take advice from a guy who's wearing a shitter Breguet. I mean, of all the Breguets. Now, here's the thing. Now, if this gentleman is watching, he seems like a nice guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy. But, you know, if he's watching, I'm sure he's going to be watching this channel. Look, if you're going to go with the Breguet route, you need something from the Daniel Roth era, which is like, you know, late 80s, early 90s, like 92, I think, is the cutoff point. Yeah, you got to get late 80s, early 90s, Complication. Those are beautiful watches. And I think they also did some stuff in the 60s. They look kind of similar. Those are more expensive. But I think the 80s and 90s stuff is actually, you know, those are actually, you know, there's money in them. They're not like, I'm not saying it's like, you know, whatever, but it's like, they're basically a, I think the 80s and 90s Breguet, there's something to them. There's definitely something to them. And the new ones, though, are absolute shit. It's pure trash. It's for lowlives. It's for like wannabes who just don't know any better. Look at the person who wears it, like the Bogan of Brisbane. The Bogan of Brisbane, you know, the guy who's like, you know, thinks he's like, I don't know, some sort of, I don't know, what could I say? He's thinks he's, what the hell is it? Who's the guy? The King Edward? Who's the Duke of Edinburgh? What's his name? You know, the guy. What's his name? What the hell is this guy's name? Who had to resign? The guy, you know, the guy who's friends with like Hitler. You know, he was going to be king, but then he married like you know, an American divorcee who basically looked like a dog. I mean, this lady he married was like an absolute pig. But he was like, you know, known to be like a guy with good taste, you know, very elegant guy. What the hell is his name? I'm trying to think. Anyway, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? He's not a contributor to the channel, so, you know, here we go. Look at this. Look at the way the dial changes with the light. This is the value of Rolex. You got to get the right dial. The dial is everything. That's why I'm saying. That's why Nick Hayek didn't want to listen to that mooch bum, because he doesn't want to listen to a guy who doesn't have the right dial. That porcelain dial with those like scroll. You know, somebody wrote in those numbers with a pencil or something. I mean, or with a pen, like a big pen. I mean, it's terrible. Of course, Nick Hayek doesn't want to take his advice. But anyway, where am I going with this? So basically, Swatch Group has a lot of problems. Which is very apparent. Nobody wants to buy their shitter watches. The Omegas are garbage. Blancpain is garbage. That's it. I mean, you know, the Jacques Droz. Even that they not working out. Jacques Droz, they're trying to do bespoke watches. I don't know. I made the mistake of buying a meteorite dial one, and I'm gonna have to get rid of it because, you know, I actually don't wear it. I think I've worn it maybe a dozen times, and you know, the most expensive watch you own is the one you don't wear because you don't get the use out of it. So it's like, I just needed to get the meteorite thing out of my system. So, but the one I wanted was the Rolex, meteorite, date. So I'm gonna have to get that at some point and just trade in this Jacques Droz. I'm probably gonna take a big hit. It's probably, you know, gonna lose like $5,000 on that watch, which is a shame. But yeah, listen, sometimes, you know, sometimes it is what it is, but yeah, it's okay because, you know, I've done well with other watches. So it's like, if I take a hit on that watch, you know, it'll be okay. Well, actually, no, let me do the math. Yeah, so basically, if I would have gotten the meteor, I think where the meteorite is, it basically becomes a wash because I would have had to pay a big premium for the meteorite. I don't know. Listen, we'll see what happens. Look, the watch market right now is a little bit, a little soft, a little quiet. I think a lot of people are just not that interested in watches. They've lost interest. I'm not even that interested, honestly. I'm like, you know, when was the last time I uploaded a video here? I mean, I'm just like, I don't know, like, you know, how much can you talk about these watches? Like, you know, and the problem is not the watches, it's the people. It's like dogs. You know, the problem is not dogs. Dogs are, you know, the great animals, right? The problem is the dog owners. You know, most dog owners are just, you know, complete nut jobs. I mean, it's just the way it is. Like 90% of dog owners there's definitely something wrong with these people. Yeah, especially the ones who own like big dogs. Because imagine you have this dog, you keep it in your house. It's like basically a wild animal that shits in the street, pisses on the street, eats they sniff each other's assholes, just like, you know, these watch channels like the Ochomo channel, the JJ Bukiak channel, a bunch of dogs sniffing each other's assholes. They're like, you know, it's disgusting, right? And then you take that dog in your house and the dog smells, and it's almost like having a sheep. You might as well have a sheep in your house, right? But outside of that, I think they're great animals. You know, they're, you know, one of the smarter animals out there. But it's like, why don't I just have a donkey at home? I mean, donkeys also are great animals. And donkeys, at least, you know, are useful. Well, dogs also could be useful, as long as they're doing like a job, like maybe guard dogs or whatever. They do something. You got to get these dogs to work, not like keep on your lap, keep them indoors. That's the problem with these people. They keep their dogs indoors in their house, in their apartment. Dogs go crazy. I mean, the dogs are supposed to be outdoor animals. They're supposed to be running around doing work, like, you know, guarding sheep, or, you know, I don't know, rescuing people from snow avalanches, that type of stuff. Anyway, so back to Breguet dogs, and yeah, speaking of, you know, and then don't get me started on these dog trainers. Don't get me started on dog trainers. We're talking pure Chomostan, okay? We're talking 100% Chomostan. Unbelievable but true. Yeah. Anyhow, so where were we going with this? Yeah, so the watch market is kind of, is, you know, it's like, who gives a shit about watches, right? So Omega's having a problem, and who's the Breguet Man? We're talking ArchieLuxury, the Bogan of Brisbane. ArchieLuxury, who's, I think from what I understand, he sold all his Rolex. Imagine selling even the shitter Rolexes that he had. What did he had? I think he had the shitter version of the King Tut, like with the ceramic. I think he had also the Explorer 2, which is, Explorer 2 is actually not a bad watch. It's just not for me, but like I understand if people like it. It has something to it, you know, like it's kind of like you know, it's kind of, I don't know, it's a whole different thing. But where was it? Yeah, so look, the Bogan of Brisbane. Here we go, dogs. See, the cute girl doesn't have a dog. It's the other one. The cute girl doesn't have the dog. Yeah. Anyway, so the Bogan of Brisbane's got five Breguets by now, and that tells you everything you need to know about Breguet. That is the problem with Breguet. We're 15 minutes into the video, and I just got to the point. The problem with Breguet is the Breguet Man is a guy, a fat slob, who wears, these busted down shirts with his shorts, with his monogram on the cuff. Listen, never put your monogram on the cuff of your shirt. You know, these cheap custom shirts he's got with a cheap fabric. You can tell that fabric is like absolute garbage because they're all frayed. And then he puts the monogram on. Listen, if I owned those shirts, I would not want to know anybody. I wouldn't want anybody to know that, I own those shirts. I mean, look, if you're gonna get the custom shirts, you gotta get the good Swiss fabric. You gotta get the good Swiss fabric. I'm not even talking about Italian fabric. Well, there is a good Carlo Riva. But who's I'm thinking of the Swiss brand who's actually really good. I have some of their stuff. It's what is the name? What is the name of the company? Anyway, one of you mooch bums would know. Yeah, Archie. Look, Archie's a mooch bum, and he's got 5 Breguets. That's all you need to know about Breguet. The state of Breguet is the problem. When you have mooch bums like the Bogan of Brisbane, buying 5 shitter Breguets, the worst types of Breguets, not Daniel Roth era, modern Breguets, deep discount Breguets, deep discount shitter Breguets. That's why Nick Hayek has a problem. And to top it all off, imagine this Nick Hayek, not only does Nick Hayek have a problem in his business falling apart with his crappy watches, but then look at his customers. He's got the Bogan of Brisbane, that's like that's the customer, and then he's got this Bukiak from Louisiana who's got the watch, the white porcelain dial, with the most un-Breguet. I mean, it's a disaster, Unbelievable but true. Anywho, so look, gentlemen, let me know what you think. Leave your nasty, vicious comments below. Look, this channel, as you know, costs millions of dollars to run this channel each week. So we're not doing videos because, we've had to take on part-time work to support the channel. And none of you guys are donating money, so you're not getting any content. That's what's going on. Unless you want to, maybe leave some, I think you could leave super chats in the video, not when it's live, like donations. People should start leaving donations. That's what you guys need to do, so we can put those donations to good use. All right, bums, peasants. We will punters, bogans, peasants, and pikers. See you in the next one.